Welcome everybody then to the 2025 Acura TLX Type S, and I promise you it is the 2025. There are some updates, and yes, some may be a bit too optimistic. There's two changes that I can think of in the whole car, but yes, it is still being made and it is still very much on sale for you to buy in the market today. What is it? Well, if you want to know more about the TLX Type S, I have already done a very thorough review of it. You will find the link of the video on the top of your screen. This video is mostly just to highlight the updates and just a small reminder why the TLX Type S is one of my most favorite sports sedan on the market today. So, the Acura TLX Type S, what's new? Wait, I'll give you 5 seconds to think. You're probably wrong. The new changes are, well, the grille does not have that glass plaque anymore for the adaptive cruise, and the adaptive cruise is now embedded onto the Acura logo, which is how it should have been done from day one, because adaptive cruise is now available in these cars from many years. So finally Acura has done the right thing and minimalized the grille and put the sensors into the Acura logo. So that's one change. The second change is that the interior, the speedometer console is now all digital. The car I drove last year still had the analog dials, which I didn't mind because they did look very good, but these digital dials do look much better, have much more information, and just brings that much more color onto the whole interior and uplifts the whole ambience. And that's about it. That's really it. That's really the only two changes that the 2025 car has. The MDX Type S, however, gets the updated head unit, which means it has the touchscreen unit and loses the trackpad, but this still very much has the trackpad, and perhaps the only sore point of the interior, which makes it feel very old. Having said that, living with this car for a week, and I just came back from Quebec City and back, which was like an 1700-1800 kilometer journey. I didn't really mind the trackpad because I got used to it very easy, and in fact I would say that while driving you don't actually really have to take your eyes off the road and you can navigate through menus easily. It does have wireless CarPlay. The engine is such a fantastic package. It is a 3-liter turbocharged V6, produces about 360 horsepower. It does have the sporty handling all-wheel drive, as Acura likes to say it. What can I say? It does still look very stunning. I think this is one of the best looking sedans on the market today. The sleek headlights, the sort of splitter on the front. Overall, it's a superb looking package, and it does turn heads. In fact, few times I had this car parked in certain open parkings, and every time I got back I had 2 or 3 people looking at it, inquiring me about it and asking what it is, because usually people do see the regular run-of-the-mill TLX, but the Type S, I think that's a unicorn on the road. Yes, it's still not the most practical. The rear seats is still cramped compared to the footprint of this car has on the outside. The boot isn't the biggest as well. What can I say? It's just a bit of a compromise you have to bear for the design and the engine this car provides. Barring those two changes, the TLX is still the same. So it can't really go wrong, right? Because I really liked it the last time, and I have to say, I really still enjoyed the car. How does it drive? Let's find out. Behind the wheel of the 2025 Acura TLX Type S still has the same mechanicals as it did last year. So it does still have the 3-liter turbocharged V6, produces about 360 horsepower, has the all-wheel drive or sporty handling all-wheel drive, as Acura likes to call it, has the 10-speed automatic torque converter. So yeah, let's see how this sedan drives. Use the button to put it into drive and then press it again to put it into sport. Yep. And we can set off, and the car starts in normal mode, but you can adjust the dynamic mode, as Acura calls it, from the screen, and you can put it to sport, and I can put it into sport plus. Oh, and it picks up. Oh, and it's a fast car. And if you launch it in sport plus, this thing can do 0 to 100 in 4.7 seconds, which is immense fast. But yeah, you can again dial it back down into normal and comfort and just cruise, which I have done. I took this car to Quebec City and back about 1700 kilometers, and it's supremely comfortable in comfort mode. It just becomes like a regular TLX, which is such a cool thing. The exhaust mutes down, so there is no drone for the rear passengers, and overall it's a very fun car to drive. And I love the fact that you can dial it down when you don't need it to be a bit aggressive. But I have it set in individual, where the engine is in sport, the steering is in sport, but the suspension is in comfort. But I can put it back into sport plus, and the engine just drops a few gears. Oh, and you do have the paddle shifters as well, and the rear wants to step out. Oh, yep. The roads are a bit slippery. It's been raining and it's been snowing, but the chassis is so sublime. It's actually so good. The steering feel is so perfect. I've had so much fun driving this vehicle. Wow. And it sounds so good. It's one of the best sounding V6 cars I've driven lately. It's just so much fun. I would buy this car solely because it's so fun to drive. It's for me. Carrying passengers is an added bonus. I would just buy it because it's just a beautiful package to drive. Overall, I can't really fault the way this car drives. The brakes are top notch. The gearbox is usually in a gear higher than it's supposed to be, but otherwise it's just you can always take paddles. I'm just dropping gears. Oh, and it's just just for noise alone, it's tough car to beat. I don't know how Honda has pulled it off, but this V6 just sounds so good. The chassis handling is so good, and yes, this is a rear biased all-wheel drive, and yes, it will step out on you. I've had one or two instances, even in the snow, the car just wants to step out on you. It's just so much fun. It's the front end is so grippy. Yep, the rear, I could find the traction control. Wow, it's so fast and so much wave of torque, and the exhaust, the whole experience of driving it is just top notch. I don't know why more people are not buying this car. It's just such a fantastic package and a severely underrated option. In conclusion then, the 2025 Acura TLX Type S, well, those two new changes definitely uplift the whole car. I mean, the look of the front does look much more cleaner, and the interior ambience does go up with the speedometer console. Yes, it does still have flaws. It's not the most perfect car on the road, but just look at it. I mean, I was standing on the front, but now I'm looking at the rear, and the rear is just as good looking as the front. Those quad pipes, the lip spoiler, it's one of the better looking cars on the road, and just for that reason alone, I absolutely adore the TLX. And if I were to buy one, I'm willing to live with all the faults this car has. Maybe I won't ask my friends to sit in the back all the time. Maybe I won't carry their luggage, because everything else, it's just so good. And the chassis and the handling, it's something very close to my heart, and I absolutely love driving this car on the limit. Even on the just straight highways or twisties, this car just delivers. For $65,000 Canadian, yes, it is a bit on the expensive side, but for $65,000, what else is in the market that goes directly against this? If you say the M340i, that's much more expensive. The 540i, which doesn't exist anymore, the 550e is way more expensive, but it does have way much more power as well. It's a bit of a secluded space this car is, but still, I would say that this car isn't selling quite as much as it should be, and that's a bit of a shame. For all you know it, Acura might just be killing the TLX next year or next to next year, and that would be quite sad, because the industry would lose such a smart and handsome looking sedan.